Started playing music later in life with really zero confidence that I could even play. I never thought I would pick up an instrument. I was able to create my own music and turn that into confidence. In this video, I want to show you how it worked for me, as well as how it can help you. For a long time, I had a voice in the back of my mind, I guess, telling me that you don't have what it takes to be musical, you don't have any born musical talent, you don't understand how to read music, and you're just at some point too old. And I figured I didn't play in high school or college or something, and then, in my 20s and 30s I didn't play, and after that it almost seems ridiculous to try to start playing an instrument and sing in front of other people as you get older. When you feel like that, it's easy to just give up and not even bother trying. I mean, why do you want to look ridiculous, really? Eventually, I just said, the heck with it. I'm gonna try and pick up an instrument and try and play. Not gonna lie, it was really hard at the beginning. It's pretty humbling. You're trying to learn chords and strum and sing all at the same time, and you have to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way I think that you can learn. You have to make a lot of mistakes. I would look at other people playing, either professionals playing or friends playing, and they seemed to just pick up a guitar and sing, and it just seemed effortless. And I just thought it was so unfair. Like, how come they get to do it and I don't get to have this enjoyment? The worst part is you start to think, why am I even bothering to do this? Like, what is the value? So the big question is, why play at all? Instead of focusing on playing the guitar and playing all these individual notes and sounding perfect, I started focusing on something else that was sort of unexpected. And it's what I call creating. You're probably thinking, well, creating what? Are you writing songs when you can't even play the instrument? Well, about 3 months into playing my first instrument, I actually just started writing songs. And the first song was about some flowers in the yard, which maybe not so exciting, but when you're writing songs, inspiration really is all around you and can come from anywhere. Ultimately, I started filling notebooks with song ideas, and some were just a few verses or a chorus. They were pretty simple. At the time, I didn't even know how to write songs. I just sort of did it innately. It was almost like an instinct to write the songs, because, as humans, we're storytellers. We like to tell stories, and what is music but telling a story? I've recorded myself playing some of these songs and listening back to them. They're pretty cringeworthy, to be honest. Simple days with nothing to do. But I use those recordings to practice and improve, and really starting to find my voice as, I guess, an artist, which an artist, it just seems crazy to think that in just a few months I decided, okay, I'm going to be an artist, I can write songs. But I think this is sort of just the natural flow of things. This is what happens. I was able to find my vocal range and really hone in on my actual voice. And this was another, a huge obstacle when you start singing and you're older. It's really hard because you usually don't have as big a vocal range as maybe someone younger. I didn't sound good because of that. It was really hard to control my voice, but I kept playing and I kept recording myself. It was pretty not great, we'll say. Gradually, something unexpected happened, and these silly songs just became like these little creations that I was able to complete. I was learning music, I was learning how to write songs, I was learning to sing, and I ended up proving to myself that I was able to do something really hard in the beginning. I just thought I had no natural ability to do. Originally, I set out to play an instrument, but it just became so much more. And I think it's the much more and the creating something that you could hear, and a little, a sort of a little story with the lyrics and the music. And that was the thing that actually gave me confidence to keep going, because I could see sort of a future where, okay, I can get a little bit better. I can play these songs enough to sort of get the story across. And I realized if you show up and you're confident, you're going to just build on that confidence. So something as silly as a song about a squirrel is something that projected me forward to do even more. So even when I was embarrassed, I would just keep going and keep playing. So I'm going to talk about my real turning point, and that was when I decided to share my recording outside of my home and let someone else hear it. And so I was in a creative songwriting group that I had joined, and I saw other people sharing their little recordings of partially written songs, maybe just a chorus here or there. I almost didn't post it. I was really nervous and afraid because I thought, what are people going to say? They're going to laugh at this, and, what are they going to think about? I'm singing on camera and recording this goofy song. I thought they're going to say, hey, she's too old for that. Why is she singing and writing songs? But ultimately I said, well, maybe if people think it's silly, I'm okay with that too. So I ended up actually sharing it. Instead of criticism, fortunately, the people connected with it, and I think it generated some laughter and fun. The main reason was because it was a song about a squirrel, which I shared. That was when it really clicked for me that confidence doesn't come from being amazing, but it's being willing to be vulnerable and share even things that are uncomfortable to share. And in the end, trying is better than doing nothing. If you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe so you can catch my other videos as soon as they come out. About a song about a squirrel. So here we go. Hey, Mr. Squirrel, why are you here? I'm going to talk about some successes and accomplishments that little bit of confidence was able to help me achieve. And then things started building on top of each other. So sharing one song helped me share the next song and then get feedback on another song. I've recorded some of those first songs and put them on SoundCloud so I could feel like, oh, okay, I just did an audio recording and I posted it to SoundCloud. Like that was like a checkbox. And then I was able to learn how to use GarageBand to produce my own music, do tweaks and adjustments, and layering the songs with different guitar, my voice, multiple vocals. I was able to write 90 songs in 30 days. So at this point, I've written over 100 songs. I created a small EP after I did that 100 songs, and I was able to distribute that across streaming channels. And then of course now here I am running a YouTube channel sharing my experience with others so others can learn from, I guess, my successes, but also my mistakes. Each little success builds on itself and you get confidence to do the next thing. What are some of the tips, or like how did I achieve this? So I would say I tried things early before I felt like I was really ready. Like if I said, am I ready to write a song? No, I was never really ready, but I did it anyway. And so writing the song before I was proficient in playing an instrument almost didn't really matter, and it helped me learn to put chords that sounded good together. And I really created songs without having any knowledge or experience. I learned later that the process that one uses to write songs was about 80 or 90% of what I was already doing. I let things kind of stay imperfect. I didn't worry too much about small mistakes. If it sounded okay, it was good enough. And I shared those recordings with other songwriting groups or other friends that also were playing an instrument. I posted to different streaming systems like Spotify and others. Again, this was just to kind of demonstrate that I'm able to go through the process of doing that thing and then distributing covers and proving out that process. So each of these is like an example of the how-tos. Like I wanted to say, well, how do I release an album? How do I record an album? How do I write a song? And if I knew how to do it, that was increasing my confidence. The third thing I did was that I would just keep showing up and doing things even when they were uncomfortable. Recording was hard in the beginning, especially if you're not very good at playing an instrument consistently and you are trying to do what I call a one take and record from beginning to end. You got to get every piece perfect and you can't really make changes once you're doing it that way. You can splice pieces together of the song. That's an option, but that's also hard. So that's yet another skill. And so being able to get more comfortable, it forced me to practice more, to get better, to be more consistent. And that was true with the vocals as well, which how many times are you too sharp or too flat when you're singing, or the voice doesn't come out right is what you expected. And so through all of that, I also learned a lot of new skills. I learned how to set up a microphone for myself, how to use GarageBand, how to use iMovie, navigate all the fun things of distributing your own music. The reason I'm sharing all of this is because I'm hoping that someone who is at the beginning of their journey, who's maybe thinking, I can never do that, I hopefully have shown that it is possible and you can gain confidence in your music ability even when at the beginning you're not feeling very confident and you're feeling embarrassed. You're not really behind in any way, doesn't matter where you are in your journey. And I hope that this video can help you move forward. To conclude, music isn't just about learning chords or learning songs. You can get confidence by accepting the fear, accepting the imperfections. And I look forward to hearing your comments about this video. And I hope that you could share something creative that you've done through your guitar learning experience, or something that you would like to try that's creative. If you are looking for other inspirational videos for learning music, guitar, songwriting, even I have some videos on selecting guitars and instruments, please check those out. I appreciate you staying with me on this video today, and I will see you next time. Join me for